What's going on, everybody? This is Daryl Andrews, Coach D, coming to you with another of my LinkedIn lives and my YouTube lives and my Facebook lives. I'm just glad to be alive. But I throw that one in there. I mean, some rough times out here today. So anyway, with all these lives, I'm just glad to be alive and vibrant and making a difference. And as you can tell, for those of you who've ever watched me doing these videos, I'm very random and spontaneous as far as doing them because I just don't have the time anymore. I mean, I'll be honest with you. We've been working so much around here as far as consulting, training, and all of that, that to find the time to do videos has been difficult. We're actually creating videos for companies and organizations, and we're doing tons of training. Many of you know already, in the DEI space and core values space. And so just much as I love to interact with folks, I just don't have as much time as I used to, which is a good thing when you consider the fact that, the world we're living in today, a lot of people took some pretty significant hits last year. And so we grew in the midst of all of that. But as I mentioned before, I'm a big proponent of, and I train on, disruptive innovation. And disruptive innovation is simply a term that means when you're forced to innovate, you got to innovate. There's literally no other option. You just have to innovate. And you have people who either kind of sit around and wait for things to go back to where they were, and you have other people who create. And so I got to tell you, something that happened today was really pretty cool. And hey, Oscar, good to see you, man. Hope all is well. And so I got a call from and I'm very excited. I'm going to be working with this speakers organization. And the guy contacted me about this event, and he said, hey man, do you do live programs anymore? He said, because when I go to your website, I just see virtual. I said, well, to be honest with you, I only have done one in the last year, two actually. And I said, 95% of my work is virtual, and I'm busier now than I was when I was doing live events. So it would behoove me to stay virtual, since I'm busier virtual than I was live, even though we were pretty busy live. And so he said, that's really neat. He said, because most of the people last year took a bloodbath, which, I said, no, we didn't take one of those. We did for the first couple months, but then after that, everything changed, and I've been busier now than I've ever been in my career. And he said, that is amazing. And I said, well, it is. I said, but willing to innovate, man, willing to shift gears and willing to try new things. And so I just kind of put that out there as we get started. You know what I mean? One of my mentors, Dr. Miles Monroe, if you heard me quote many times, said one of the most powerful quotes on the planet, and that is, it's a tragedy to be preoccupied with the past at the expense of the future. I'll never forget that quote. I have not. It's a tragedy to be preoccupied with the past at the expense of the future. And so now we're in a beautiful office, which with other, businesses, primarily tech businesses and some social entrepreneur type businesses, and got some conference rooms here. And man, this is just a phenomenal opportunity. We're in businesses grown threefold, partnerships with wonderful people and doing some great things. Pierre Campbell and, Rachel Revel and I are still running the race together with some stuff. And I'll tell you something, it's a beautiful time to live in. But let me say this real quick, because that's not what I came on to talk about. I came on to talk about core values. And I think it's important today, more than ever, to not ignore the need for integrating core values into the culture of our organizations. Times have changed, people have changed, but values have not changed that much. In other words, showing people respect, showing people, operating in integrity, honesty, and all these different things still pertain today. And so we're finding that more and more organizations, especially as a result of coming out of this pandemic, are really trying to redefine themselves through core values. And so we have a process that we're using, and we have multiple customers that we're working with, but we're talking about trying to integrate these values into the cultures. And what's nice about that is, even like from a DEI space, once it's integrated into the culture, then it becomes who we are. and what we do. And ultimately, that's the goal of core values. You want core values to really define who you are and what you do. And when people see you, or they see one of your employees, or they see one of your managers or whoever, they say that organization is defined by what? Is it defined by attitude and acrimony and challenges and discontent? Or is it defined by respect, good work ethic and honesty and loyalty and things like that? So core values, it really, I can tell when I walk into an organization, a business, or anything else, if they're operating by core values, or listen to this, are they operating by the emotion of the moment? That is not a good place to be in. When you're operating by the emotions of a moment, that means you can have fires going all on within your organization everywhere, because you got all these people operating by the emotion of the moment. Something happened with a customer, something happened with a manager, something happened with a director, and all these different emotions just kicking in, instead of saying those core values are going to drive us towards an outcome. But let me say this, my friends, they just don't happen. You got to work on them. You got to put the time in. You got to say, this is what I want my company to be. This is what I want my organization to be. And you don't just say that and then say, okay, here are 5 core values, and then that's it. No, people need to be trained. You need to consult. It need to be collaborative, which means that you get feedback from the leaders and from the staff. If not, you're trying to superimpose something that people aren't ready for. And many of you know, when you do that, when it comes to with employees, sometimes that could be a challenge. So core values are really critical to organizational culture. And so I'm saying this because I've been recently noticing that in some places I've been, folks are dropping the ball on this. You're walking in and you're getting bad customer service. You're walking in, you're getting bad attitudes. That's not how organizations, businesses, or anything should be operating. Core values need to be driving it. So some of the important core values that we know are integrity, accountability is another one. We can go on and on with the list. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is becoming a major one for many organizations now. And but the point being that if you're not operating by core values, you're operating by the challenges of the moment, and you don't want your organization defined by that. So I don't have a lot of time today. Just want to drop that in there. We've been doing a lot of core values training. We've been doing a lot of DEI projects that we have, as well as individual events. We do individual programs and trainings at the Book 2 speaking events today as we speak, actually 3. And so we still do those, but most of our work these days are really more on the deep end consulting and innovative project design, creating new things. I'm a big innovator. I don't like to do cookie cutter anything. It gets boring, and plus it doesn't help people when you just come in with a cookie cutter. And we do some assessments and analyze how people, where they are, where they've been, where they're trying to get to, and they put the best system together. So that's all I have for today. Getting ready to go celebrate my son's graduating from high school, so got to go do the really important. That's the important stuff. Your family, certainly family first. So we'll try to do these from time to time, but remember, core values drives or corporate culture. If your culture is terrible, it's because you don't have core values. Or if you do have core values, they're sitting on the wall, they're not in people's heart. Take care. Bye-bye.